No intro, let's just get into it. You can change the pose of the Xenoverse 1 hologram. Here we can see the reflection of Frieza in his ship as he looks over planet Vegeta. From this shot, I just get the feeling that planet Vegeta will be a playable stage. Now, this is more than likely just a cutscene from the story mode, but I still think it was something that was worth mentioning. Here we see Great Ape Vegeta and a naked Great Ape, and if you remember in Xenoverse 1, this scene had Great Ape Vegeta and Great Ape Nappa. I'm assuming the naked Great Ape is Great Ape Gohan. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Hopefully this means we can fight two Great Apes at the same time, maybe more, who knows. History has been altered, so when Krillin uses Solar Flare to temporarily blind Dora so he, Gohan and Dende can escape, it now looks like Zarbon appears to stop them. First form Cell. Here it looks like Cooler is about to transform, which to me it just feels like this was a very deliberately placed scene, so maybe this is a hint that Cooler and Frieza will indeed be able to transform during battle. Time Breaker Bardock. Next we get a look at what I'm assuming are the social spaces. The top left is Capsule Corporation, top right Namek, bottom left Hercule's Villa, and bottom right Frieza's ship. Android 16. 16 is given an eye laser attack and Hell's Flash. I'm assuming Hell's Flash is going to be an attack that's completely exclusive to Android 16 just because of how it's executed, but it would make sense to add a second variation of this attack which would be fired from the palms of our hands. I just think this will be a good and easy way for our avatars to use this attack. Earth's space stage returns. Here we can see Timebreaker Bardock back hit Xeno Trunks. This just looks like something that was very specific to add, that it makes me think that the only reason they added this in the trailer was to show that the hit detection is now much better than what it was in Xenoverse 1. In the story for Dragon Ball Online, Bardock is brainwashed by Mira and Tower, but eventually breaks free. Once he frees himself from his brainwashing, he uses a kamikaze attack to try and kill Mira, but it turns out that it doesn't actually kill Mira and it doesn't actually kill him either, so it's a big mess. So I think this is a type of kamikaze explosive wave. Oh, transformations. So we already know about the Frieza race, Margins and Saiyans, and now we know about Namekians and Earthlings, giant Namekians. Now if you remember back to the J Patrol interview that was done about a month ago with Masayuki Hirano, he said that there were no plans to add playable giant characters, but there are playable giant characters. So I've came up with a few explanations for this. Firstly, he was just deliberately lying. If he said he couldn't talk about it, that would mean, yes, there are playable giant characters, and he just lied, so when they did the reveal, it would just be all that more shocking and satisfying. So basically, he's pulling a Hideo Kojima. Secondly, he doesn't consider Super Namekians as giant characters. I believe that if you were to compare a giant Namekian to a Great Ape side by side, the Great Ape would be much bigger. So it's possible that he considers Super Namekians as a sort of intermediate size, maybe like a huge size, who knows. And thirdly, but in my opinion the least likely, at the time that J Patrol asked the question, they didn't have Super Namekians planned and have since added them, but I doubt this is true considering it's only been a short amount of time since the J Patrol interview. But talking about the transformation itself, it seems that they move incredibly slow, which is to be expected, and their movesets change. For example, you can see here that they have the generic Great Ape Vegeta, like the squish attack, I guess, and it seems like rocks and pebbles and debris in general will float up when you become a Super Namekian. And I just think it's funny and worth mentioning that right here, the Namekian is standing on the floor outside of the ring on the World Tournament stage, so technically he's out of bounds. So now let's talk about the human transformation, or rather the Earthling transformation. I have to admit, I think this is a really cool idea, and honestly I tip my fedora to Dimps. Realistically, what exclusive transformation could be given to Earthlings? The only transformation that comes to mind would be the Master Roshi 100% max power form, which could definitely work, but then my question would be, what would the women get? Because in my opinion, I just don't think a bulky Master Roshi-esque form would suit them. Maybe like what I've mentioned in a previous video, a giant form, but then again, the Namekians have that now, so it's kind of redundant. But I will say this, at least now the technology is there in the Xenoverse franchise for future installments. So to finish off transformations, I need to ask one question. Where is unlock potential? It's not been shown yet, so I'm assuming it's going to be included as a transformation that every race will have, much like what I predicted. But then that also begs the question, will we get other transformations that aren't exclusive to race? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So moving on to the final bit of new information from this trailer, I believe we see one of the new Ki Blasts. I'm assuming it's new because I've not seen this before, but from what I can tell, it looks like a delayed homing Ki Blast. And we also get to see the Barrage Ki Blast, which I'm assuming will work in the same fashion as Final Shine Attack worked in Xenoverse 1, which is you can continue using the attack as long as you have Ki to supplement it. And after this, the trailer does go on, but we don't really see anything really that new. So I'm just going to end the video here. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and I'll see you next time.